Good morning, welcome to Wishwell Farms. My name's Jason, and today is a very special day. One we have been waiting for all season long. It's the first day of sweet corn harvest. Look at the smorgasbord they had back here. Holy moly. The coon are always one step ahead of us. They know exactly when to get into the corn. The beginning of sweet corn season is always a little bit stressful for me. It's a beautiful day, but it is hot and muggy. We try to do our quality control while we're harvesting. All right, let's get this corn up in the barn and get it in the cooler. Another full skid of 100 dozen going into the cooler. Normally, they're probably almost 2 inches longer. 800 dozen ready to go for tomorrow morning. Today felt like one of the top 10 worst corn picking experiences ever. All right, we're just getting started on our very first pass in the sweet corn patch. Started just back there about 100 feet back by the Ranger. It's a little young, so we gotta be very careful what we're picking. Got 5 guys out here. We're picking 5 rows at a time. This is Nate and Alan's first day picking sweet corn on our farm. Got my son Gavin right back there. My cousin's son Brett and Joel. And Ken's doing the driving today.
So I'm looking down through here, and there's definitely a lot of ears that are right on the verge of being ready.
Normally, picking sweet corn is a one-pass deal. We go through the rows one time, pick it clean, turn around and run over the rows we just picked to get us deeper into the patch. But today, because we're not able to pick every ear, we may not run over it and just keep going around and around, and eventually we might even have to bring baskets out into the middle of the patch so we don't run over the corn, because I think we're gonna need to go through it one more time before we start running over it. Once you run over it, you can't harvest it again. But typically, the corn is ripe enough that we can strip it clean, and it's a one-pass deal. So the patch we're picking into today is the one that I accidentally planted too heavy of a population. This patch went in at 30,600 seeds per acre. I typically plant between 20 and 24. So I can definitely see a smaller ear size than normal. Usually this variety gives us pretty big ears for an early season variety. By the way, this variety is Bolt. It is a augmented super sweet, also known as an improved super sweet. So this is not a sugary enhanced, it is not a synergistic or triple sweet. Beautiful day here on the farm, but it is a little muggy today. Very humid. The corn loves that. I don't know how much we'll get today. We're gonna at least go one round around the patch, see what we've got. It'd be nice to get 300 or 400 dozen. That'll make tomorrow a little easier, and that way we don't have to pick like 800 dozen on Friday. Here's what raccoon damage looks like, guys. Look at the smorgasbord they had back here. Holy moly. They like to be in the center of the patch and hidden from the outside rows. But you know, there's dozens and dozens of ears here. They can devastate a lot of crop really quick. Yeah, there's hundreds of ears eaten right here. Now, before you jump on the keyboard and tell me what I should have done, I know everything that can be done for controlling coon. You know, we used to put up electric fence all the way around our fields, like miles and miles of electric fence. They would still find their way in. We have trapped them heavily over the last decade and caught hundreds and hundreds that way, but it's been a while since we've done any trapping, so they are making a comeback. I don't have a cannon, but I have like this little box that makes flashing lights and all kinds of predator noises, like lions and wolves and eagles and gunshots and things like that. That seems to be helping. I just need more of them. I have them moved over to a new patch right now where the corn's a lot younger. The coon are always one step ahead of us. They know exactly when to get into the corn. Right at the end of blister stage, probably a week before we're in it, they are in there munching away.
Do you have a lot of coons out here?
Oh yeah, you want to come and trap them?
I'll hunt them. I love crap.
I'll pay you. We'll talk about it later. And if you're able to get over just another foot, it'd be good to give Alan a little more space to walk next to the wagon.
You got one yesterday.
Not too shabby for our first pass. We're not even finished with it yet. Probably got 150 dozen in there. That's a long way from 1,000 though. For Saturday, we need close to 1,000 dozen. We just finished up our first pass. Looks like we got about 200 dozen. We're gonna run it up to the barn, get it packed into the trailer, and we'll be back down for another pass. Working on our first packing of 2025. We're getting about 5 dozen in these 1 3/4 bushel tubs. Normally we only get 4 to 4.5, so that tells me the corn is just a little bit on the small side. Not unripe, it's just the length and width of the ear is a little bit smaller than normal, but it's still satisfactory. We're just gonna pack up a quick 12 tubs, get it on the trailer. My daughter Natalie is heading out to our satellite location here in about 10 minutes. We're just gonna put 12 tubs on the trailer today. Normally we need about 16 to 18 of our own corn, but I'm thinking 12 will be enough today, especially for a Thursday. Stack the other 2. We're going to give her 5 tubs of starter corn and 7 underneath the shelf to get her through the day. All right, we just need to throw some green beans on here and she's good to go. So after we bring our flatbed wagon into the barn, we remove a couple of the sideboards. Everybody just stands around the wagon with these green tubs, throwing in handfuls of corn. That's good. And then after we get a full tub, we bring them over to the ledge and stack them 5 high on a pallet, 20 tubs to a pallet. So 100 dozen today per pallet. Another full skid of 100 dozen going into the cooler. Boy, does it feel good in here. Can you finagle that back into the corner? So after tomorrow, we'll have this whole corner of the cooler filled up with about 800 dozen. Just about wrapped up with packing up this corn. Who all's itchy? It was really itchy today. I don't know what it is. Humidity, and maybe just not used to picking corn or something. But the more humid it is and hot out it is, and the more you sweat, the itchier you get. But if you try to cover up with wearing like a suit, a corn suit or waterproof suit or something, you just get soaking wet from sweat. So I think I'd prefer the itchiness and then just wash off when you get back to the barn. So Nate and Alan, are you gonna come back and pick for another day?
Yeah.
All right, tomorrow morning is gonna be a big one. You gotta be ready for it?
Yep.
We'll get started a little earlier, so hopefully it won't be so hot.
I watched your channel yesterday and learned a lot about tomatoes.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and corn.
Appreciate it. All right, we got all of today's pick packed and in the cooler, 3 full skids, another parcel we just started there, and the 12 I put on the trailer for my daughter this morning gives us 375 dozen. So not too bad for just making one round around our very first patch. I'm gonna show you what the ears look like. So here's 5 that I picked for lunch. You can see they're just a little bit on the small side. Normally they're probably almost 2 inches longer. This one's not far off from being normal, but I think planting the corn at the wrong population definitely affected it. But it looks filled out pretty good. It tastes great. The girth or the diameter of the ear is almost normal. It's just the length. And that is what Rupp Seeds told me was probably gonna happen. So they were right. Fortunately, I only made the mistake of planting the wrong population on the first 2 plantings. So as long as we get timely rains throughout the rest of the season, all the rest of the plantings should be just fine. I let everybody go early today. We just wanted to get the ball rolling, get a couple 100 dozen out of the field, see how it went, train a couple new guys, and have corn for today and tomorrow morning. We'll be back bright and early tomorrow morning for at least another 600 or 700 dozen to fill up this cooler and have all the corn we need for Saturday farmers markets. It's another corn picking day. We only need about 500 dozen today, so not too bad. We should easily get it out of this 1 acre patch. So that'll be about 2 full wagons level. We got a new guy with us today, folks. This is Steven down here in row 1. We got Nate over here in row 2, Brett in row 3, my brother Joel in row 4, and Gavin is currently driving. It's a hot one out here today. Whew. Full sunshine and humidity.
My church clothes on today.
Joel's wearing his church shirt. His arms got so cut up yesterday, he was itchy all day. You know, it would be nice to come out here and pick this corn before first light and have it all in the barn by 7:30 and miss out on this humidity. But man, you have to get up at, well, I'm already up before 5 o'clock, but these guys aren't up and ready to work by that time, but that would be ideal. Typically, we like to pick 3 or 4 ears and then toss it in the wagon. I'm holding the camera in one hand, so I'm trying to do this one-handed. All right, starting pass number 2. So many of you are probably wondering if we go back and pick it a second time. And as you can see, the answer is no. These are the 5 rows we picked yesterday. So there's 1, 2, Gavin's running over row 3 and 4, and here's row 5. So this row right next to the wagon, right beside Steven, is row 5 that was picked yesterday. We call that our buffer row. So there's always gonna be 1 row scraping the side of the wagon, and then we have row 1 that we're actively picking. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes we'll pick 5 rows at a time at the very most if we have a 5th picker, but today we only got 4, at least for now. I'm going up to get Ken to replace Gavin. Ken's gonna drive and Gavin can jump down here, and then we'll have a cleanup guy. Instead of picking 5 rows, we're gonna have a cleanup guy to help keep everybody together. So since Steven's new, he's still learning how to pick and he's falling behind the rest of the crew. And it's still happening to Nate a little bit too. So Gavin will jump down here and help pick row 1 and 2 with Nate and Steven to keep them up with Brett and Joel. And that way we can all be together right beside the wagons to get the corn into the wagons safely without damaging the corn with long throwing. All right, it's a little slow going this morning, so I'm gonna go up and get Ken, take Gavin's place. Gavin's gonna jump down and be the floater or cleanup guy, whatever you wanna call him. I had to leave the corn crew for about a half hour to finish packing up our mobile produce trailer. It is good to go. I'm gonna head back down and help the corn crew. She has 20 boxes of tomatoes, 15 tubs of corn, which is only 75 dozen, and a bunch of homegrown goodies here. Well, not the potatoes. Indiana cantaloupes and watermelon, Georgia peaches, all kinds of good stuff. We're making some progress. We're about 2/3 of the way done with corn. We got a long way to go in this back wagon, probably only 150 back here. And we got about 225 in the front wagon. So we're getting there. So we just finished up that block back there of 24 rows. And now we're in the second block back here. We got 24 rows here, maybe even 30. We're gonna go around it. Actually, we're gonna go down and back and see how much we got after that. Because I think the back third of the patch is a little less ripe. It's really rocky and hard clay. So we may have to do most of our picking up in here to get what we need. The beginning of sweet corn season is always a little bit stressful for me, and extra stressful this year because I'm training a bunch of new guys. We have 3 new pickers. Only 2 of them are here today, but we have 3 new pickers that have never picked corn in their life. So I was telling them, hey, I got something in my eye, a little piece of corn tassel. I was telling those new guys that, you know, I understand that they're going to be slow because it's difficult to learn how to pick corn quick. you got to get the eye for it. You know, eventually, you know just by looking at it if it's a good ripe ear. And you know by feeling it at the top, whether it's good and full. And it takes a little bit of experience to figure that out. So this first week's gonna be a little slow going, but I was telling them that this is like the first time in history, in 30 years, that I've had half of my crew be new pickers. It was always people who have been working for me for 3 to 5 years. Yep. Okay. As I was saying down there until I got interrupted by Joel calling me, he had to find a new place to pick because he came into a spot where there was really immature ears. So I told him just to drive on down to the end, turn around, come back until it got good. So as I was saying, in the past, until you had worked for me for 3 to 5 years and had proven yourself harvesting all of the other crops that we grow, and that you were fast and efficient, always on time, and just motivated, until you had proven yourself on the farm, you weren't able to be part of the corn crew. So we always had our best of the best on the corn crew because it's a fast-paced, sweaty, itchy job. And having new pickers out there definitely slows us down. And you know, we're out here picking in the heat longer. We're getting bad ears picked every now and then. So we got to be very careful when we're packing it up and as we're selling it. If we see immature or damaged ears from bird or raccoon, you know, we got to make sure we pull those out. So I guess you would call that quality control. You know, we try to do our quality control while we're harvesting. And when you are an experienced picker, 99.9% of the corn is good that we harvest and ready to be sold and eaten. But when you have a new crew, quality control becomes a little bit more difficult because they don't always know exactly what they're picking. You know, we try to show them numerous times what a good ear and a bad ear looks like so they can see and feel the difference. But some bad ears still slip by. So having the sales staff trained well to know what bad ears look like is also important so they can pull those out as we're selling the corn. I think we're just about done here picking sweet corn. I know we got our 250 in the front wagon and probably around 2 in the back wagon, so we're real close to getting what we need. Just needed about 500 dozen to go with a couple 100 dozen we got in the cooler right now. It's a beautiful day, but it is hot and muggy. Yeah, that breeze feels good. All right, let's get this corn up in the barn and get it in the cooler. All the sweet corn is in the cooler, getting chilled down. Let's take a look and see what we got. Starting to get pretty filled up in here. I've definitely had it much fuller in the past, but this isn't bad for our first week of corn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 skids of corn, 800 dozen, ready to go for tomorrow morning. We got a decent pile of green beans, peaches, cantaloupes, zucchini and cucumbers and pickles. That's what all of these are. All zucchini, cucumbers, and pickles. And another bin of Indiana cantaloupes. Canning tomatoes. We got a nice pile of canning tomatoes for tomorrow. Thank goodness my diesel fuel showed up just in time. Out here, I'm just getting things wrapped up. It is early afternoon now. I've already put the tomatoes in the Worthington truck, getting ready to load them onto the Clintonville truck, the Powell truck, and the Dublin truck. And we are starting up our hometown farmers market tomorrow with the green and white trailer just down the road about 4 miles. So I haven't really done anything on here yet, just threw on a couple boxes of tomatoes that we actually had to pack into strawberry flats last week because we ran out of boxes one day. But I'm gonna put some more tomatoes on here. We'll have zucchini and cucumbers on here as well, and green beans, and of course sweet corn. And since I don't have my own melons yet, I'm not able to sell Indiana cantaloupes and watermelons at our local farmers market. I will dump sweet corn back here instead. So not only will we have 30 or 40 dozen on our corn table that swings down, we'll put another 30 or 40 dozen here, pile it high, and watch it fly. Boy, was it a hot one today. I am so glad we got everything harvested, washed, and in the cooler before noon, because it is not fun to work out in the fields in the afternoons when it is like this. It is pushing 90 degrees and it's very high humidity. And my brother Joel even mentioned to me that today felt like one of the top 10 worst corn picking experiences ever for him. So that's saying something. It is pretty brutal out there today. I'm gonna finish packing up these trucks, and tomorrow morning is farmers market day. So I gotta run Nikki up to the Logan County Farmers Market at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning and get her set up for the very first time because our space has moved slightly. So I want to get her all set up and good to go. And then I'm going to rush off to Columbus and help the Worthington Farmers Market out over here for a couple hours. It's going to be Emma and Nate and Stanley. I probably won't help much because I'm going to be filming quite a bit, but I want to see how the stand looks. I'll walk you around the Worthington Farmers Market. I might even go live. Who knows? This is where we're going to wrap this one up today, folks. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you all again next time down on the farm.